Welcome to the Asia Economic Institute webinar, Powering the Growing Dragon, Energy in China. The Asia Economic Institute allows experts from across the globe to connect and share economic research, ideas, and news. We can be found on the web at www.asiaecon.org. In this webinar, we will look at China's present energy consumption and its future energy options. First, we will look at an overview of China's surging demand for energy. Second, we will look at China's current energy policy, particularly pertaining to renewable energy. Third, we will discuss different sources of energy and how they relate to China. The sources of energy we will discuss includes coal, petroleum, natural gas, biodiesel, hydropower, wind, and solar. Fourth and finally, we will have some concluding remarks. China needs massive amounts of energy to fuel its surging economy. From 2001 to 2007, its economy grew at a remarkable 10% each year, while its demand for energy exploded at 13% each year. In 2007, China accounted for 15% of the world's energy demand. It currently consumes more energy per year than any other country besides the United States. Its increasing demand for energy can be partly attributed to the shift of its industries, from labor-intensive industries to more energy-intensive industries. These energy-intensive industries, including cement, glass, chemical, iron, and steel, have gradually increased their share of gross domestic product since 2001. As a result, China now uses around 70% of its total energy supply on industry. In addition to these energy-intensive industries, just the sheer volume of people continues to drive the domestic demand for energy, as Chinese citizens start to enjoy being in the middle class and start consuming energy-intensive goods such as cars and home appliances. As its economy continues to grow, China continues to import energy from other countries, particularly fossil fuels such as coal and petroleum. To decrease its reliance on energy imports, China implemented its 11th five-year program and its 2006 Renewable Energy Law. Their focus now is on more efficient use of energy conservation, and investment in renewable energy sources. The 11th five-year program calls for a speedy development of renewable energy sources, which would also result in increased environmental protection. It requires a 20% reduction in energy consumption per unit of GDP by 2010. It also aims to reduce overall energy consumption by 4% each year. The 2006 Renewable Energy Law aims to have 20% of its energy to come from renewable energy sources by 2020. Renewable energy currently only accounts for 8.5% of the country's primary energy supply. To reach their target, the Chinese government has pledged to invest over $180 billion in biodiesel, nuclear, wind, solar, and hydropower, and other renewable energy sources. Coal has played the biggest role in China's economic expansion. China has 13% of the world's known mineable coal reserves, making it the world's leading producer and consumer of coal. Up until 2003, it was the second largest coal exporter in the world, but since then, China has reduced the amount of coal it exports by 50% due to a surge in domestic demand. Demand for coal in China has increased by 12% each year since 2001. By 2007, China became a net importer of coal. Today, over 69% of China's energy needs are met by coal, and about 75% of that coal is consumed by the power sector. Coal is one of the main reasons why China is considered a miracle economy, experiencing rapid industrialization and income growth levels common in highly developed countries. Petroleum also plays a big role in China's economic expansion. In 2006, China consumed an average of 3.5 million barrels of oil per day. Oil accounts for 21% of China's energy demand. Most of the oil in China is used in industry, but transportation has been playing a more important role in driving local demand for petroleum. As the local Chinese become more affluent, they are starting to use more private automobiles instead of bicycles, which means more local demand for oil. By 2010, China is projected to have 90 times as many automobiles as it did in 1990. The growing number of motor vehicles accounts for 42% of the growth in oil consumption since 1995. Natural gas only meets 3% of China's energy needs, but demand for it has been growing rapidly because of the recent expansion of China's chemicals industry and an increase in household heating and cooking needs. Local demand for natural gas is especially expected to increase as more and more Chinese join the middle and upper classes, who will demand more natural gas for their home needs. China is estimated to have about 53.3 trillion cubic feet of natural gas reserves. Moreover, there are several recent discoveries of natural gas fields in the country, which are currently being developed. China's production and reliance on natural gas is expected to rise as more natural gas fields are discovered and developed, and local demand continues to grow rapidly. Biodiesel is a renewable energy source that is rapidly gaining popularity in China because local companies have discovered a way of producing it in a more efficient and less wasteful way. China Clean Energy Incorporated, a leading manufacturer of biodiesel fuels and specialty chemicals, utilizes raw grains and waste feedstock to produce biodiesel. In particular, it uses the fibers of the rapeseed, which are usually discarded after being crushed for the production of rapeseed oil, to convert it into biodiesel. Using waste feedstock is also an effective way of getting a higher energy payoff for producing biodiesel than using raw grains. China Clean Energy Incorporated has the capacity to produce 11,000 tons of biodiesel per year. They plan to increase their capacity to 100,000 tons per year by 2009. Biodiesel, though, is only in its infancy in China, accounting for less than 1% of the country's total energy supply. It is hoped that further government and private investment in this area will boost biodiesel's contribution to China's energy supply. Hydropower is a renewable energy source that the Chinese government may look to rely heavily on in the near future, particularly because the technology and infrastructure exists and are well developed. About 16% of Chinese electricity is generated from hydroelectric sources. China also contains about 22,000 of the world's 45,000 large-scale dams, with these dams having the capacity to produce 117 gigawatts of electricity. This includes the Three Gorges Dam located in the Yangtze River, which is the largest hydroelectric power station in the world. China's 11th five-year plan also includes further development of the country's dams, including adding dams and rivers in Yunnan, Sichuan, and Gansu provinces. Hydropower in China has met heavy political resistance because it was blamed for displacing 23 million people, contributing to the country's already depleting water resources and damaging the environment. But it is clear that the Chinese government is focused on providing more investment to hydropower because of its huge potential to help meet the country's energy demand. Wind power also has a significant presence in China. It is largely complementary to hydropower, which is available in the summer because it brings energy during the spring, autumn, and winter seasons. In 2006, China has a total of 3,311 wind turbine units, 360 of which have a capacity of 1 megawatt or more. This brings China's wind power capacity to 2.67 gigawatts by the end of 2006. In 2007, China's wind power capacity grew to 5 gigawatts. The Chinese government now hopes to increase wind power capacity to 10 gigawatts by 2010. Despite the rapid increase of wind power capacity, it still meets less than 1% of China's energy needs. In order to boost development of wind power production, the Chinese government conducted 4 rounds of wind concession tendering programs from 2003 to 2006. They then approved 11 major projects that have a combined capacity of 2.45 gigawatts, which are all scheduled to be completed by 2009. Solar power experienced a jolt in its production during the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. Beijing's National Indoor Stadium, which was constructed specifically for the Games, has 1,100 solar panels installed and is capable of generating 100 kilowatts of power. The 7 other main Olympic stadiums contain solar generators that have a combined capacity of 480 kilowatts. Moreover, the street lights outside the stadiums and the hot water used are 90% solar powered. The Chinese government has been investing heavily in solar power despite its high initial costs. Solar power has a promising future in China because of several reasons. First, the country receives more sunlight than most other regions of similar latitudes, making it a prime location to collect solar energy. Second, there is a significant domestic market for solar power, particularly for homeowners. Third, China has become the world leader in producing photovoltaic cells, which are used in solar panels. Finally, China is already the world's biggest producer and consumer of solar water heaters, producing more than half of the world's supply. It is evident that China is very active in developing its renewable energy sources as well as improving its more traditional energy sources. Their investments in energy fits in their overall plan to diversify their energy sources to meet their growing energy needs. But meeting their growing energy needs not only means investing in its renewable energy sources. It also means that the Chinese government must regulate its high energy consuming sectors so to control local energy demand. Additional investment in renewable energy sources, combined with having an active and effective control of local energy demand, will help China solve its energy demand problems. Thank you for joining us for our webinar. For more information on the economic issues in Asia today, please visit our website at www.asiaecon.org.